Hello everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Macbeth on the Mr.Markoteach Distance Learning Channel. Today we're going to be looking at Act 5, Scene 5, Scene 6, Scene 7, and Scene 8. In Scene 5, you will hear the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow speech given by Macbeth. This is probably the most famous scene from this play, and maybe, arguably, one of the top famous scenes, soliloquies, monologues, speeches by one person in all of Shakespearean plays. That being said, we will look at three different presentations. One by Ian McClellan. It is the Royal Shakespeare Company, very proper style. The Patrick Stewart, very modern one, which I really enjoy. And then the most recent movie version that I could find, a 2015 version that stars Michael Fassbender, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, as Macbeth. I don't think I've used any of those before, so this will be the first one. They're all relatively short, about 2 minutes long. And the very famous speech, of course, Hero is going to explain and analyze what is happening in this scene, give a little bit of different interpretations of what these words by Shakespeare, these Shakespearean words given by Macbeth may mean. So basically, Macbeth learns that his wife has died. It's probably by suicide, and he is either lamenting her passing or he's lamenting his sort of, untimely loss of all his power and everything is crumbling around him. I would also, if I can, I don't think I'll be able to, embed in the vocabulary Macbeth rap summary. If not, I highly suggest you go back, if you're a current student, go back into vocabulary, go back and watch the Macbeth summary rap. It uses tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow in it, and it also will really make a lot more sense if you watch it now knowing what has occurred in the play. Okay, I think I have talked enough. Enjoy one of the more famous Shakespearean scenes.
In Act 5, Scene 5 of Macbeth, we're still in the castle at Dunsinane, where Macbeth has convinced himself that he and his men have a good chance in battle. From another room, he and Seton hear women crying. Seton leaves to see what is going on and returns to announce that the queen is dead. Macbeth is stunned and says that she should have died hereafter, a statement that could mean she should have died later anyway, or that she shouldn't have died now, but later. He reflects on how short life really is and how it seems meaningless. Then a messenger arrives to announce Birnam Wood appears to be approaching the castle. Macbeth threatens to hang the messenger if he is lying, but now Macbeth feels fear about the upcoming battle. It seems Macbeth hasn't seen his wife since her madness began, and he is not with her when she dies. When he hears that Lady Macbeth has died, he focuses more on the meaninglessness of life as a whole rather than on her specific death, saying, "Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death." Depending on the performance, the speech can show Macbeth as callous toward his wife's death or as wishing Lady Macbeth hadn't died. Contemplating his future without his wife, he sees the years ahead as a trail of meaningless days, a tale of sound and fury signifying nothing. It is unclear how much of this existential crisis is caused by Lady Macbeth's passing, and how much is motivated by his own dwindling fortunes. Although the soliloquy is moving, he almost immediately buries his grief in consideration of his self-interest, the looming battle.
Wherefore was that cry?
The Queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage. And then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Wherefore was that cry?
The Queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays of lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out. Out. Brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage. And then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
The Queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word.
Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death.
Out. Out. Brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
It is open to your own interpretation which of those three, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and the Michael Fassbender version, which one you enjoy. They're all slightly different in their own way, but most of them are keeping the core words of Shakespeare's speech all together. We're going to continue. We're going to try to finish the entire play in this last video. We get the Cliff Notes summary of Act 5, scenes 6 and 7. We'll get the course hero analysis of both scene 6 and scene 7. Basically what we have unfolding here will be explained to you by, what's her name, Professor Buccola or Bucciola. She will be giving you the analysis, but obviously everything is surrounding the Burnham Wood is coming to Dunsinane Hill, and Macbeth is still hanging on to the other prophecies, no man born of woman, and that he should just stay away from Macduff because he needs to fear Macduff. So he's still hanging on to those two, but I think in his heart of hearts he's realizing, you know, it's coming to an end here and it's not going to be pretty. Enjoy Course Hero's analysis and interpretation of scenes 6 and 7 as we speed towards the finish line.
Pretty cool, huh? Bring it on! Your wife killed herself.
Look! The forest is coming toward us!
And Macbeth realizes that the witch's predictions have come true.
Well, just goes to show, life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So if I die, I'm gonna die like a man! You were born of a woman!
Macbeth's army has surrendered the castle and Macduff is hunting Macbeth!
By the way, have you seen my son?
I was born of a cesarean section.
Ah, man, dang it!
Technically not of a woman.
He died well, with valor, which is more than we can say for this guy. Scotland has its freedom! Freedom!
By the grace of grace, we will perform in measured time and place.
And that's Shakespeare's ray of hope. Good can triumph over evil because the madness of tyranny will eventually be its downfall.
Yeah, I know that now. I sure wish someone would have given me the heads up earlier. I just said heads up!
Funny, 'cause it's you.
Yeah, yep.
Although Act 5, Scene 6 of Macbeth is only 3 short speeches long, this scene nevertheless brings the play to the brink of war. Malcolm, his uncle Seward, Macduff, and the army approach Dunsinane. Malcolm declares that they are near enough to the target to abandon the branches they have used for camouflage. The men wish one another well for the battle, and the war begins. Burnham Wood has now come to Dunsinane Hill, and the participants are eager for the fight to begin. Malcolm again displays his leadership and diplomacy as he gives his uncle Seward the honor of leading the battle's first charge. Act 5, Scene 7 of Macbeth takes place in the midst of battle, where Macbeth finds himself cornered, but he continues to fight. He takes some comfort in the prophecy that no person of woman born can do him harm. Seward's son finds Macbeth, and Macbeth kills him, declaring that the young man must have been born of woman. Macbeth flees before Macduff arrives. Macduff pursues Macbeth while Seward and Malcolm make their way toward the castle. Even though the part of the prophecy regarding Birnam Wood coming to Dunsinane Hill did not go as planned for Macbeth, he still has faith in the second vision. None of woman born can harm him. Although he is in the midst of a battle and probably doesn't have time to think about alternative meanings, his clinging to this vision represents his continued blind allegiance to what he believes is his destiny. He takes his ability to kill Siward's son as proof that the remaining prophecy is true, still driven by arrogance even as the battle rages around him.
Prepare yourselves, everyone. We are about to finish Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 8, the end of the play. Congratulations if you have stuck with this into summer. More power to you. And apologies that I wasn't able to finish this on time. Life and things happen. Okay. We will get Course Hero again, kind of analyzing the end of Shakespeare in this final scene. We learn that Macduff is able to catch Macbeth, and they're going to have this final duel to the death, and Macbeth is kind of lamenting everything that's happened. Macduff wants nothing to hear about it. He's like, let's just fight this out. Basically, Macbeth is like, listen, you were born of a woman, and I live a charmed life. And Macduff says, not so fast. I was born of a cesarean section, a C-section. I believe the line he uses is that he was ripped from his mother's womb, untimely ripped from his mother's womb. And Macbeth is like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So, well done by Shakespeare, a really nice plot twist 400 and something years ago. He's given the audience the old like, oh, I didn't see that coming, whoa, what a surprise. So, Mr. Shakespeare, well done. I doff my cap to you, sir.
In Act 5, Scene 8, Macduff catches up with Macbeth on another part of the battlefield. Macbeth still thinks there is a way out, so when Macduff appears, Macbeth tells him that he has already killed Macduff's family and that Macduff is next. Macbeth brags about his charmed life, saying none born of woman can hurt him. Macduff tells Macbeth that he was not of woman born in the usual way. Instead, he was cut from his mother's womb. At this news, Macbeth doesn't want to fight, but he will not yield when Macduff tells him to do so. They fight, and Macduff kills Macbeth. There is a retreat, and then Malcolm, Ross, Siward, and the rest of the thanes and soldiers enter the scene with colors flying. Malcolm regrets the losses of the day. Siward learns his son was killed, but that he died honorably, which makes Siward proud. Macduff arrives with Macbeth's head on a pike, the standard treatment for traitors of the time. Macbeth's head is treated as a trophy and as a caution to other would-be traitors. Macduff and the others hail Malcolm as king. Malcolm assumes his title and awards the thanes by naming them all as earls, the first time this title has been used in Scotland. He decides to send word to the exiles still abroad, such as Donalbain and Fleance, that they may come home. It is now safe to return, as Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are both dead. Malcolm believes that Lady Macbeth took her own life. The new king extends thanks to one and all and invites everyone to his upcoming coronation at Scone. Apparently, the prophecy claiming none of woman born can harm you was extremely technical about the mechanics of childbirth. The prophecy in the end seemed more like an empty taunt than a promise of a special destiny. Macbeth finds that all the prophecies were misleading and thinks he probably would have been better off if he'd never met the witches. Even when he knows that his prophecies have run dry and that he is likely beaten, he refuses to yield to Macduff. In many ways, he is still the relentless opponent he showed himself to be in Act 1, but now his efforts are in the service of nothing. He has no heir or loyalty to anyone but himself. Malcolm has matured through the battle, and although sad and upset that not all of their friends have survived, he maintains a brave face, truly exemplary of the heroic code. The men also find comfort in Macduff's trophy, the gory head of their former friend, Macbeth. Macduff and the others are heartened as they hail Malcolm, the new and rightful king of Scotland.
Was he that was not born of woman? Was he that was not born of woman? Swords, I smile at weapons, laugh to scorn. Brandished by man that's of a woman born.
Turn, hellhound. Turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is charged with too much blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my blade. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou the entrenchant air with thy keen blade impress as make me bleed. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be the tongue that tells me so, and be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Yield thee, coward.
And live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rare monsters are, painted on a pole and under writ. Here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou, opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body, I throw my warlike shield. Damned be he that first cries, hold! Enough.
That is the end. I don't really know what else to say at this point, but thank you very much for sticking through this. Thank you very much for hitting like and subscribe. Why not hit the notification bell? As you can see, we're at the end here, and the beard has really done its job and grown. So there will be, hopefully sometime over the summer, a video where I'm going to try to dye this beard blue. We will see what happens. And maybe that'll be the video that, really skyrockets my YouTube career. Who knows? There was other videos that I was planning to put on, but obviously now that we're into the summertime, I didn't get to do the Curse of Macbeth. It's a very famous pop culture kind of thing that I wish I would have been able to get a video made. If you want to Google that or YouTube that, I'm sure you'll find videos on the Curse of Macbeth. It's how you shouldn't say the name of the play in a theater and where the history and all that comes from. But it's something that you should know. There was Simpsons Macbeth, not a whole thing of it, but a little snippet. I didn't really get around to that, but again, you can find Homer playing Macbeth a little bit, giving, I believe, I'm not even sure what speech it was, sorry, so I'm not even gonna try. And then I had a video on why study Macbeth, and I may have even made it, I don't even remember at this point, so whatever. So there's a few videos there that didn't make it. They're on the cutting room floor, as the kids say. Anyway, there's a speech I like to give at the end of the school year, so I guess we'll consider this the end of the school year, and this was a crazy school year, I'm well aware. However, generally what happens is students like to come back and see their old teachers. That's probably not going to be a possibility with COVID and all that. So in 2 or 3 years, or 2 or 3, 4 months, whenever this COVID passes and we're able to kind of go back to normal, if you do come back to visit me or you see me somewhere and you're like, oh my gosh, Mr. Markowitz, and I'm going to be like, oh, hey, you, and you're going to be like, you don't know my name. And I'm going to tell you straight up right now, I don't remember kids' names. This is what happens. You get 150, 160 students every year. I memorize everyone's names. Then you leave and a new 150 and 60 students come in and I have to memorize their names. So there's only so much information that can stay inside this brain. So I lose the names. And it's not that I forget who you are. I know who you are. I know you were my student. I remember all the good times. I remember all the bad times too. But I don't remember your names. So I'm telling you straight up, if you see me and then you get all upset and I'm going to be like, I told you I don't remember your names. I just can't help it. Maybe this year will be different because it was such a crazy year. Maybe I will remember everybody's names. Who knows? But now go 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road and it's another, 150, 300, 400, 450 names. Now you go 8 years and I've got almost 1,000 names. I can't remember them all. I just can't. It's not me. Some teachers have that. They can remember students' names. I remember your faces. I don't remember your names. That being said, hit that like and subscribe button and hit the notifications and have a wonderful summer. Keep on reading. Reading is fundamental. Did you turn it off? All right, it's over. Peace.